Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the most, Avery LR32 here, bringing you guys another episode of The Road to YCS Atlanta. This is going to be episode 2, and we are going to be talking about the side deck techs within the side deck, some cards that some people are siding within their side decks, everything about the side deck we're going to be talking about in this video, hopefully within a good 15-minute time span. So sit back, relax, maybe whip out a notebook so that you can take notes. I don't know. But yeah, so let us dive right into this here. Also, I wanted to mention that from episode 1, I don't remember if I brought up Magispectors or not within the deck types that you want to watch out for. But Magispectors is a very good choice. They're very good. They just got new support in Bosch. They have a monster now that can search them spells or a spell card that they can set right to their spell and trap card zone and then activate it next turn, which is very good. So definitely be on the lookout for that and side deck accordingly, which is what we're going to be talking about here. So let's get into it. So that was a lot of so's. I have 4 regional deck tops from TCG Player. Shout out to them. And in here, I want to cover kind of variations and differences that are seen within the regional circuit, because not all of these decks are necessarily going to be seen at an event such as a YCS. For examples, Fluffles and Brilliant Madolches. These two decks are good in their own right, but something like Brilliant Madolche is more innovative than anything, as you can clearly see by the deck list here. In case you want to pause it and just take a minute to look at it, then do so now. And with decks like this, it revolves around innovation, obviously, but the side deck is going to be different because it's going to be based upon whatever is a bad matchup for these innovative decks, meaning that this guy's side decking Sea Turtle Kaijus, but you're not going to see something like Sea Turtle Kaiju in every single side deck. Even Magical Spring, you're not going to see Magical Springs in every single side deck that you see, so it's really not something that you should look out for. On the other hand, something such as Grand Horn of Heaven, Flying Sea, even MST for that matter, and Royal Decree are cards that a lot of people are having in their side deck, sometimes in their main deck, that you have to watch out for. Now, Magical Spring is a tech that I actually do want to talk about, and it's very good because a lot of people were playing it, I want to say like maybe a month or 2 ago, and it's very good. It's a secret rare out of the 2015 Megatins. It's a quick play spell card, and here's the effect. You draw a number of cards equal to the number of face-up spell or trap cards your opponent controls. Then discard a number of cards equal to the number of face-up spell or trap cards you control until the end of your opponent's next turn after this card is activated. And then spell and trap cards your opponent controls cannot be shown by battle or by card effect, and also their activation and effects cannot be negated, and you can only activate 1 spring per turn. So essentially what you do is that, let's say your opponent has their pendulum scale set up and they've got, I don't know, a Vanities and an anti-spell fragrance on board. You can activate this Magical Spring, draw 4, and then you can discard 1 because Magical Spring is still face up on the field resolving. So it's a very good way to thin through your deck, and it also gives you some more of a draw power in case you need it for, whatever reason. Like, let's say you're playing Cosmo and your opponent has a big board set up with a bunch of, face-ups, like both their scales, Vanities, whatever. Activate Magical Spring, draw a bunch of cards. At the most, you're probably going to be discarding 1, and then you can just hopefully be able to go off and make a big push. That's normally what you're going to want to do anyway. And then if we also look at this regional top, this person topped with Black Wings. Black Wings is another deck that, in my opinion, with how it functions, is hit or miss, because they have all the support, but at the same time you have to keep in mind that decks that are as old as Black Wings, even with their new support, have been power creeped. Look at the last time that Gladiator Beast topped. Like, name me the last time that Gladiator Beast topped an event. Regional, YCS, doesn't matter. Exactly. And don't say locals. Like, don't comment and say, well, last week someone topped with Glads in my locals. Locals don't count. You're not good if you top locals every week. No offense, but I'm just saying. When you take regionals and YCSs and nationals and all those kind of big tier events into consideration, you never see decks like Black Wings or Gladiator Beasts, if hardly ever, in the top. Usually they're extremely innovative builds, and they knew very well how to play against their matchups, such as, against Magispector and what have you, Cosmo. They knew how to play against them and knew exactly what their weaknesses were, which is good, but even if you know that, decks that have been power creeped so hard, like Blackwings and Gladiator Beasts and what have you, just can't keep up. You can give them 3 of everything, like Blackwings, for example. They have 3 of everything now. Like, they're not touched at all on the ban list, and they still just can't keep up. And that's no fault on the player or the deck. It's, well, excuse me, it's no fault on the player. It's the fault on the deck because of how old these cards are, and even with the new support, it's just, it doesn't provide what Blackwings need now. What Blackwings would need, well, in a Blackwing deck case, what Blackwings would need now in order to be competitive is pendulum-based cards, because we are in a pendulum-based format, which is why in your side deck, you want to have a bunch of cards that revolve around defeating what a lot of people are going to be using, which is pendulums, which is why you always see cards like Anti-Spell Fragrance, even well, not really Macrocosm, but MST, Maxis, cards like these that slow down your opponent or at least hinder them of using their pendulums. Now let's use this one, for example, because this one has been popping up a lot more lately. Artifact Cosmos. The Artifact engine as a whole, it is extremely good. Within Cosmo itself, it's not good main decked. I've tested it, thoroughly tested it, played it. I never liked it. The ability for you to open up like all artifacts and just brick is a real thing, and it sucks when it happens. It's not good. I liked how that one person put it, that Vexy posted on his channel. The guy was side decking 7 artifact cards, and basically he would smoke and mirror his opponent. Even in the mirror match with Cosmo, he would side deck into his artifact engine, which I feel is the much better option and gives you more of a utility. Because in game 1, as he said himself, you just want to keep on dropping your ships and just going off and trying to OTK as fast as you can. Now this is kind of a more of a side deck that you would see at a YCS. Cards like Time Space Trap Hole, Vanity's Fiend, Monarch Stormforth, hell, even Majesty's Fiend. Majesty's Fiend is absolutely amazing against pendulums, because the pendulum monsters don't get their effects, because monster effects cannot be activated. They're still, believe that they're still considered, no, excuse me, I take that back. Monster effects cannot be activated on Majesty's Fiend. You can still activate your pendulum scale monsters abilities in the pendulum zone, but you know, your opponent can, you know, pendulum summon all day, but then they can't activate their effects, and it's hard enough as it is to get over a 2400 beater. Like, most of the time nowadays, if you want to get over a big beat stick, you're going to use, you know, something out of your extra deck to get over it, unless you have like Dark Hole or something to that effect. Monarch Stormforth is going to be a big card in the side deck, because you also have to keep in mind that Monarchs are going to be a thing at this event. So Monarchs will most likely, 99% of them will be main decking Stormforth, and probably 95% of Cosmo decks will be side decking Stormforth. Monarchs will probably be side decking Max C, because just having more of a draw engine with Pantheism is good. Anti-Spell Fragrance is going to be a thing at this event. Grand Horn will be a thing. Solemn Strike. Solemn Strike will probably be sided or mained, one or the other. That's all going to be player preference. But Cyber Dragons will definitely be a thing in the Cosmo match. MSTs are going to be a thing. Twin Twisters are going to be a thing. Monarchs will probably try to main them. I know my dad's been testing Monarchs. He's been maining Twin Twisters, and he said it's been working well for him. The artifacts are definitely going to be sided in Cosmo. Like, I've really been testing that whole theory in general, and it seems very good as a side deck option to side deck 7 artifacts or just a little mini engine and just go into it game 2, depending on what your matchup is, just because the Cosmo cards in general cover so much ground, and it helps you in so many of your matchups. Even cards like Time Space are going to be even better. Any card that's a trap hole card is going to be so much better simply because of Repulsa. The ability for Repulsa for you to get any sort of trap hole card out of your deck is amazing. It makes your Bottomless is live when they shouldn't be, and it makes Time Space live when it shouldn't be. Like, it just throws your opponent off guard, and it really can pants them if you play it right. In regards to cards like this, just because this is in the build, Mistake, cards like Mistake, I feel are not going to be seen as much in the side deck, just because they do cover a lot of ground, but at the same time, we have better cards. You know, obviously, neither player can add cards from their deck to the hand except by drawing them. Okay, that's cute. So they can't get their Pendulum Sorcerer effect if you're playing against Pepe, but at the same time, if people wanted to, they could also use Shared Ride. Shared Ride was a thing when I topped with my Cosmo build. I was using double shared ride. But shared ride, I feel, has kind of fallen out of favor along with Mistake. You can tell clearly by the price drop. It used to be a $20 to $30 card, and now it's $7. It's really dropped in hype just because that we have so many better things now. Like, instead of side decking triple Mistake, why would you side deck triple Mistake when you could side deck, say, triple Twin Twister or triple Anti-Spell? You know, instead of giving your opponent the ability to play the cards in their Pendulum Scale, just use Anti-Spell to completely shut them out of being able to play their Pendulum cards at all. Which is why I'm hyping up which is why I'm hyping up Anti-Spell so much, just because it's going to be killer in this YCS. I can guarantee you that the top 32 will consist of Anti-Spell across the board. It has to, because it's the only way that you're going to be able to stand a chance against these Pendulum-based decks. And when you look at decks even that try to be innovative with Odd Eyes Pendulum Magicians, Danko Seka, it's broken. Like, it's so good. Some people are taking in Santa Claus, which, you know, is, you know, whatever. This is an Odd Eyes build. You're going to probably be mostly seeing, well, actually, you definitely will be seeing mostly Pepe Magician and other variants of Pepe there at the event. Grand Horn will be a thing, as I mentioned, Max C's. Like, even here, see, you're seeing Max C, and then you go into this side deck here, and you're seeing Max C. You go into this build, you're seeing Max C. That should show you a trend. Even Flying C. That should show you a trend that there's a reason why these players are playing it, and it's because it's obviously good. But the side deck as a whole, from here on out, really just depends on what your toughest matchups are. And that's what you should always remember when building your side deck, is that, you know, maybe you don't want to play MST in your side or Maxi in your side or whatever, and that's okay. Just make your side deck to whatever it is that you're going to be playing against that you feel the most of, which is why I've been hyping up these decks so much. That if you want to create a good side deck and have a good chance, make your side deck to combat Cosmo and Pepe. If you can make your side deck to revolve around that, you are going to do well at this event, because those two decks are going to be the most represented. But other than that, I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. The extra deck isn't really something too much that you really need to look at, unless you're a Cosmo player. You're going to be, if you're side decking Cyber Dragon, you're obviously going to want to be playing Chimera Tech Fortress. You may also, one last thing I do want to say about the side, you may want to side deck cards to try and stop Cyber Dragon Infinity, like XYZ Encore. I know some people were hyping that up a little bit. That's really player preference. If you really want to side deck cards to stop one card, that's something that I still kind of have to test personally. But it wouldn't hurt. I mean, people did that back in Teledad format just to stop Dark Arm Dragon, just because it was so good then. People would literally side deck cards just to stop Dark Arm Dragon. So, but other than that, you guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like or a favorite. Let me know in the comments below what ideas that you are having for your side deck. Is there any sort of tech cards that you've been thinking about wanting to try? If you're a Cosmo player, you know, and you want to play test, let me know, because I really want to test for this event. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.